Hey, welcome back, friends. This ought to be a fun video. The comment section is going to get hopping for sure. RV myths. So there's a lot of what I would call bull malarkey out there, and especially in the social media world. Everyone has a voice. Everyone hears something, then they repeat it and they repeat it. And there's just a lot of things out there that I've found have gained way too much traction, and I'm going to make this video to try to stop some of these myths from continuing to spread. So yeah, if you disagree with me, that's great. Get out in the comment section, prove me wrong. I'm all about it. But today's video is my top RV myths. I hope you'll stick around. Okay, friends, I'm not going to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on these. I'm going to respect your time, and besides, I've done videos on a lot of these subjects already. You can hop back in the channel and check those out. I'll even put cards up from time to time if I have made a video on these particular myths. But I'm going to get into the first one, which might be my favorite. It's not more or less important than the others, but might be my favorite one, and that is that Irish Spring repels mice. So you'll notice forums and Facebook groups, if somebody asks the question, how do I keep mice out of my camper? Somebody, multiple people actually, will always comment, Irish Spring soap. That's just not true. The mice eat Irish Spring. There's a great video by Sean Woods. I'll link it in the description box below. I want to make sure to reference him here. He actually does an experiment with mice and Irish Spring, and they actually eat it. So if you've ever put Irish Spring in your RV and you didn't have mice, guess what? You weren't going to have mice anyway. And yeah, that's that. He basically proved it in that video. What does work, however, that he also proved was that peppermint oil works. So maybe check that out if you're interested. Second myth I want to talk about is don't use Dawn dish soap on your RV. That's a complete myth. As a matter of fact, TPO manufacturers, a lot of you have TPO roofs, actually recommend a mild dish detergent on your roof. They actually tell you to use Dawn dish soap on your roof, and it actually does a really good job for a lot of people. Now, I understand where this comes from in certain factions because people say, well, it strips any protection you have off the sidewalls. That might be true. You definitely want to come back and you want to protect your sidewalls, but to never use Dawn dish soap on your RV is a complete myth. Manufacturers actually recommend it. Next up is another how do I keep mice out of my RV myth, and that is dryer sheets. Dryer sheets don't work. You're giving them nest building material. That's all you're doing. It's doing nothing to repel mice. If you had mice and you put dryer sheets in there and suddenly you don't have mice, well then you just can do it. Coincidentally, the mice just moved. Okay, it's just a coincidence. They actually take the dryer sheets, if they're still there, they actually take the dryer sheets and they build nests with them. Once again, you can check out that Sean Woods video where peppermint oil may actually work. This next myth is going to make a lot of people upset, but 3/4 ton diesels generally aren't enough truck for most fifth wheels. Now, you notice I said most fifth wheels. There are obviously fifth wheels out there with lighter hitches or lighter pins and that the 3/4 diesels can handle. I did a video about this. I'm not going to go in depth, but for the most part, for most fifth wheel trailers, a 3/4 ton diesel by any of the three major manufacturers is not going to have enough payload to deal with those pin weights, and that's just a math fact. You don't have to get on to me for that. That's just a math fact. Again, I'll put the video up here I did on that with proof of that. But yeah, most 3/4 ton diesels just aren't. It'll pull it. It'll definitely pull it. The 1,000 foot-pounds of torque will tow it all over the place. But payload, you're going to be over, and that's just a math fact. RVs, another myth. RVs are, generally speaking, there are some exceptions. Generally speaking, RVs are not built for full-time living. Now, I have no problem with somebody living in their RV. I think a lot of people have awesome, cool lives traveling the country, living in their RV, and I'm all about it. You're free to do with your RV whatever the heck you want to do, but most of them aren't built for it. And a good example is you got to defrost these refrigerators every so often. These are not septic tanks, they're holding tanks. There's a lot of different things you could go throughout an RV and show examples of where these aren't built for full-time living. And yeah, while a lot of people do it, and I think it's cool they do it, the RVs just aren't built for it, except for, with some exceptions, a higher end fifth wheel or something like that. Okay, I haven't been counting. I think this is number 6 on the list. But another myth about RVs is you can just, it kind of goes along with the full-time living, is that you can just pile anything you want into them. These RVs actually have payloads. They have axle ratings. They have spring ratings. And you can't just pile everything you want into your RV. I think there was a rally done, a manufacturer's rally done. They were weighing RVs, and something like 60 to 80% of the RVs that were going over the scale were overweight. So a lot of these folks are just throwing everything, including an extra kitchen sink, into their storage compartments, just loading these things down. And a lot of them just aren't built for it. You can't just throw anything you want into your RV and go. They're built for recreation. That's why they're called RVs. So yeah, I mean, I know that people like to bring all their comforts with them, and that's all well and good, but I'm just here to tell you they're not built to the point where you can just throw anything you want in them and go. Okay, friends, let me finish up with this one. This one will cause a little controversy maybe, but I think most people understand it. Not all RVers are nice. They're just not. You know, it's just like any other, group of people. You've got folks that are nice. You got groups that aren't, the people that aren't nice. Now, not to say they're not good people. They're just not necessarily nice. And I would say it's probably a good 10 to 15% of RVers just want to be left alone. And I get it. I understand that. So, I think a lot of Facebook and a lot of YouTube and social media, they show everyone camping together or going to rallies and doing all this stuff. That's not for everybody. And I've camped next to several people who you can tell they just want to be left alone. Like I said, they RV because they just don't want to be around people. And I get it. I understand that. They camp. They try to have less people around them. And I understand that. I totally respect it. I get it. But yeah, don't buy an RV thinking that you're going to be all of a sudden in this group of people who always party or always get along or always, have fun, or everyone you meet is going to be hunky-dory, and that's not how it works at all. You can just go to Facebook and look up a newbie question and look at the answers. You got some real smart alecks, you got some real jerks. It's not most people. It's not most. Matter of fact, it's definitely a minority of RVers. But yeah, don't think that everyone that RVs is nice. Okay, friends, there's my list. I'm sure I could come up with several more. What I want you to do is give me your list. What do you think is a myth of RVing, whether or RVs or RV life? What do you think are some myths out there that need to be squashed? My favorite, the biggest one I see is the Irish Spring one. Every time that comes, it's still out there. It's just amazing to me that people are still spreading that lie. They don't think it's a lie, but it is. It's just false. And they keep copying and pasting and copying and pasting. It's like, here, do this, do this. So yeah, let's get the word out. Get in that comment section. Let me know your, favorite myths or most notorious myths. I don't know what you'd call it. Hop down in the comment section and let me know. I hope you guys are good. If this video is useful, as always, consider subscribing. See ya.